If you've got a K&N horror story or love story, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. So it's a little crowded in here tonight. I'm just doing these ZX9s. This thing's got a K&N filter in it. Let's take this ugly K&N out. If you notice, you can see through the K&N filter. They're okay for racing if you're going to rebuild the engine every second race anyway, because they don't filter very well. Even when they're oiled, they don't filter very well. If you take one of these filters and you put it in your machine and then put oil past the filter, like oil the walls of your airbox, and then check it about a week later, you'll find there's dust that has gotten through, especially if you live in like dry, dusty climates. You know, Colorado, Nevada, Alberta, Canada, you know, anywhere where it's really dry, these things don't work. They're a great seller. They're touted as washable, reusable, you know, eco-friendly probably. But however, yeah, they're just not very good for everyday daily rider usage. Dirt goes through it. So you shouldn't use these things. I mean, you shouldn't use them in well, any application really, but I mean, they are good for racing because you increase your airflow through them. I have 3 filters here. One's well, 4. One's K&N, original K&N. It says right on there. This is a uni filter. It's a foam filter. You oil this one too. The difference is you can't see through the. If you put that right inside. I mean, you can't see any light. These are good filters, but you have to keep these oiled too. You can over oil them, of course. The other thing with these is if you over oil them and they suck the oil through, it might get on, in fuel injected vehicles, might get in your map sensor and screw it up. So kind of a delicate thing. These foam filters, you know, they're generally for older carbureted, I don't know, skidoos and dirt bikes and that sort of thing. They work pretty good. And then this is a stock paper element of some description. Kawasaki, Yamaha, maybe even Emgo. I'm not sure. But again, you know, when you look in there, I'll stick the. I mean, you can't see anything through that. And then finally, this is a brand new Harley Davidson filter. It was a takeoff part, and you hold that up, and you know you can't see through that either. I think this is a slightly different construction than the K&N style. It's like a paper gauze. It has mesh on it. I think this is more paper though than this stuff. Whereas this is like a, I don't know what it is. It's like a fabric. And again, you know, like you can see right through that. You can see all the little holes in there. We sell these for trucks. It's amazing. You'll see a brand new, I don't know, $120,000 diesel truck, and they're running these cold air intake shit things, and man, you know, that's a pretty expensive mistake, putting one of these filters in your vehicle. I know I'll get a lot of heat from it. A lot of people will be adamant that these are, you know, as described, but I can tell you, I mean, if you can see through it, then it's obviously not filtering. So anyways, just a quick video on that. With all that said, I mean, the only thing really worse than a K&N filter is no filter, or a bad Chinese copy of a K&N filter. Those are even worse. They're like glued together poorly, and you know, you buy them cheap on the internet, and a lot of people buy them for these brat bikes, for the custom cafe bikes you build out of the old Japanese stuff. And I mean, they look the part, and to be fair, I mean, they probably aren't going that far, and so it's kind of like aesthetics at the expense of the longevity of the engine, I suppose. I have some old dinosaur bikes. You couldn't get the boots anymore for the airbox. The airbox wasn't fitting, so you know, you put on these pod filters. One thing about pod filters, if you're putting on the pod K&N filters, you have to rejet, and that's not too bad with a slide type carburetor, but with the CV carburetors, it gets a little more difficult because there's a hole drilled in the slide and there's a spring, and once you change the dynamics of the airflow going into the back, it screws everything up. But you can jet them. I mean, you know, it just takes quite a bit of fiddling. Sometimes you luck in and get it the first 1 or 2 tries. When I use the pod filters, and you know, probably get some heat for this too, but I never clean them. I never clean them. I never oil them, because once you clean a K&N filter, it really doesn't filter well, and then you oil it and it filters marginally better, and then you can put a nylon sock over it, like a pair of pantyhose material, and it'll filter even better. But the truth is, if you just don't clean them, which is, it's kind of counterintuitive, but yeah, man, they just, the best time they filter the best is when they're completely filthy, oddly enough. But then you don't get the airflow, and causes other issues. So anyways, I hope that helps, gives you some insight into the K&N world of K&N filters. Try to avoid them if you can, and just be aware that you're sucking dirt into your engine, so you're drastically decreasing the life of your engine by using a crappy filter like that. So hope that helps, and take care.